This is Scorched Earth, a turn-based artillery game released in 1991. One of the most, if not the most, customizable of their genre, and a popular genre at the time. You can define all sorts of parameters, and then start a series of rounds against computer opponents of your choice, or even your friends in the hot seat mode. It was made by a single developer, Wendell Hicken, and back in the day, it cost $10 that you could mail to him. Yes, that is, for the youngsters, an actual physical letter with actual physical money mailed. At least it wasn't sent on a carrier pigeon nor engraved on a stone tablet. So as you can see, there's plenty of different options: air viscosity, gravity, weather conditions, different options for weapons and tanks, how the landscape is formed, how bumpy and slopey, how much money you can get, what kind of hardware you are playing it on, and the display size. We're going to increase that. Let's just change the economy as well. Or perhaps not. I'm not sure. My memory isn't what it used to be. I'm not sure exactly how much 100,000 buys this. So, you choose the amount of rounds, the amount of players, and you can start the game. The subtitle, The Mother of All Games, seems to be a reference to a Saddam Hussein quote, which is likely, given that Saddam is also one of the possible opponent names. This was back when the Gulf War was a recent event. For our future 23rd century viewers, this was the first of the 11 times the US tried to invade Iraq, but ultimately got kicked out on their sorry asses. For our 26th century viewers on YouTube, the US was a dysfunctional collection of states that existed prior to Puerto Rico seeking to obtain equal rights, and after centuries of subjugation and taxation without representation, conquer the whole continent. And yes, it's very likely YouTube will mostly and definitely outlast civilizations entirely. Much like the noble cockroach, it will scurry to find nooks and crannies to outlive us all. Which, for our 31st century viewers, well, hail the almighty deity YouTube algorithm. Hail, hail, and all that jazz. So now into the game. The actual game. Let's select a shield. Load it up to a very satisfying sound effect. And let's get things started. As you can see, you can select the angle of fire, the power you're going to fire at on the upper left corner, the weapon you are going to fire on the upper right corner. You also have an indication of the wind direction and speed. And for the most attentive among you, there is a border, a colored border line around the edges of the screen. Depending on the color of that line, the border will act in different ways. You can shoot past the edge of the screen, left or right, and the ammo might come back mirrored on the other side. You might bounce it off. You might just have it explode, like in this case, in this white border. So that, well, gaming conditions and the strategies you need to employ will change according to what barrier is aligning the edge of the screen, the positions of the enemies, the topography of the terrain, the weapons, shields that they have, and so on and so on. What this means is that it is an almost infinitely variable and non-repeatable experience in many ways. Every game you play will be different and new. You'll need to devise new strategies, calculate new trajectories for shots, and so on. The weapon variety mingled in with that means that you'll always have fun. Lots and lots of fun blowing tanks up. Or at least trying to. I think that if the viscosity had been turned up slightly, my shots would have a more realistic ballistic trajectory. Or perhaps less of an influence from the wind power. That is having quite an effect on our shots. If you haven't noticed yet, the computer opponents have funny little quotes they spout before shooting, dying, and whatnot. Oh boy, and there goes our shield. Come on, let's load up our second shield. Let's keep, still 7 parachutes, so we won't die just by dropping down if terrain is destroyed. Let's change into one of these babies. That rolled right into the damn bastard. Oh yeah. And still not dead. He just keeps shooting those repeat triple shots. See? A quote about Saddam Hussein. Maybe one of the smaller ones. Are you still alive now? Yeah. If the parachute opens, they are still alive. Come on. Almost there. I know, he died. Oh well. One opponent left. So depending on how much money you spend on each round, how many opponents you kill, and how many of those ammo choices you actually spent, the amount of resources you've got available for the next round will either increase or decrease depending on all of those factors. So try to not overuse or underuse precious ammo types, and not overspend so you have enough to get all those vital shields, parachutes, defensive systems, but also weapons for the following rounds. This, of course, is much easier versus computer opponents, like I've selected here, compared to actual humans in a free-for-all, really exciting or frustrating experience, depending on how good your friends are. It can degenerate into a slugfest if you're all so good that you're stuck in a standstill, like I think I most likely will be here because there is no ground to shoot at that would not also harm me. Let's see what happens. Oh crap. Oh, that's an interesting... Oh! Died crushed with the weight of the enemy. And that is Scorched Earth. Thank you for watching.